Peace. So, I'd like to put a ribbon, like to tie a nice bow on my presentation. My concern with biracial children is, do they know and understand the importance of their blackness? Do they know the legacy of their blackness? Do they know the history? Because you can have half white children growing up in the suburbs, and ultimately they're affected by the ideology of the suburbs. And when it comes to the suburbs, it's the idea, the origin of the suburbs was white flight, getting out of urban areas in order to run away from people of color. That is my concern with biracial children. Is what's important is, are they learning uh, the relevance of their blackness? Because this isn't about kumbaya. We're not at a point where we can sing kumbaya and we're getting past racism. There's work to do. So going back to, I guess that's why I was talking about the whole idea of straddling the fence, the idea of uselessness, is that's what I'm building on. In my example, my children are biracial. Their mother is a brown-skinned Cambodian. I consider that part of the black family. And the furthest thing away from the black family is Caucasians. And unfortunately, not all Caucasians adhere to the racist ideology. Yet, like I stated earlier, some Caucasians may not know that they're being racist while they're doing it. For me, therein lies the relevance. Are these biracial children being taught the importance of their blackness? Are they being taught the history of this country and how it started on the free labor of black people and on the genocide of the Native Americans that were here, brown people of color, brown-skinned people? That's where the importance lies. I tell my nephew, my second cousin, "You a black man." I say that to him. I let him know. But he's living a life of, listen, I'm going to say it. He's living a life of privilege in the sense that his father does very well for himself and is in a position to move out of the hood. But as far as that's concerned, it's not always a good thing. Godfrey, the comedian, he posted an Instagram video where he ran into some suburban white kids, and they were wearing wave caps. Good for them. So they were. That's a symbolism of admiring black culture. My nephew, he was wearing a wave cap, and I said to him, with all love and respect, I said to him, you know what, man, I don't think you're going to get those waves that you're expecting. I don't think it's going to happen for you. And then I saw the video of Godfrey, and I thought, after a while, I thought to myself, damn, yo, that's just like my nephew, my half-white nephew. And what it pointed out to me is that it's possible he doesn't know enough about his blackness in order to not respect it, but in order to acknowledge it and understand the legacy of the difference. And that's what I'm afraid of. It's why I could win the megabucks tomorrow, and I very much doubt that I would take my children out of the hood, because I know what the idea of the suburbs are for people of color. Convince the best of us to gain a level of success and then move out and go elsewhere and get away from your own people. I've heard the argument. I have a client, person of color, who has said, these white people keep their streets clean and blah, blah, blah. We say hello to each other. And I don't think that's a matter of, I think it's less of a matter of the type of people and more a matter of our conditioning. Love who you want to love. You want to have white babies as far as a person of color is concerned. You want to have white babies, go for it. Who the fuck am I to tell you not to? But what I want y'all to think about is keep them black. Keep them aware of the history and the legacy of this country. Teach them. Teach yourself. Remind them that the legacy of this country has for a long time been anti-black. And going back to a previous video, we've both been lied to. Black people have been lied to. People of color have been lied to. White people have been lied to. The black man is the dominant gene. The black man and woman carries the dominant gene. That's why when white people have babies with black people, the kids look like the black parent. It's relevant. It's important. It's what we should be teaching these children. We are not at a point where we don't see color, where we can say that with all confidence. We're not there yet. I want us to get there. Peace, Sean. I want us to get there. We're not there yet. We have to do the dirty work. All of us, personally, groups, we have to get dirty in order to get clean. So I guess that's my cherry on top. I upset some people with my statements when I use the term useless, even though I said a whole lot more. I guess this is where I'm elaborating on my point of view. You want to have white babies? Go for it. Who the fuck am I to tell you no? I am no one to tell you what you like. Just please, please acknowledge the fact that they get browner than their suburban neighbors in the summer. And that brown skin has something to do with the way this American ideology treats us. The brown skin identifies us as others. So let's get past the point of saying we should all get along. I don't disagree with that, but we have work to do before we get there. Remind your half white child that they are black. Teach them the history. Be honest with them. Some people say that I'm a racist with the shit that I say, but yet I ask, where am I hateful and where am I lying? You know where that hate and fucking lies and the lies lie? When the racist says that the black man is a nigga and ain't worth nothing, therein lies the hate, therein lies the lies. And I don't ever say that shit. Anyways, I gotta keep this perspective tight. Um, you know, I'm just at this point. I'm explaining myself. Pause. I guess I'm just explaining myself. You know, because a lot of people misunderstood me when I made the video that got erased, and somebody must have reported it for being hate speech. Nah. I have white friends. Pishon, what you said about segregation struck me that it can be a good thing, maybe natural. So you know what the best example of that I make is that, so we use an amount of garlic in our dishes, we use an amount of onions, and we can continue. We use a certain amount of particular herbs. I prepared a dish one time where I said to myself, oops, I used too much cumin, right? So imagine a hybrid of garlic and onions. We can no longer determine how much onion and how much garlic to use. So what are we doing at that point? You know, there's a value in the distinction. And then you bring that and then you combine a particular amount of this and a particular amount of that, and then you create a beautiful dish. But that doesn't mean that the idea should be that we should all like integrate and integration and homogenization, and we're just not there yet, man. I'm not saying that that couldn't be a potential goal for us. I'm just saying that we're not there yet. It's like the fucking person that says, I don't see color, I just see humans. We're all the same. Shut the fuck up. We're not all the same. We're the same species, but we're different. We're different. God damn it. All the same. That shit, that fucking statement is fucking, I don't know, man. It's like defeatist? I don't think that's the proper. I don't think that's the proper explanation of the idea, but ultimately, that's what it is. There's a value in I feel I've had a lot less mental issues. I don't know, maybe if I was just around peeps like me, though no one is exactly like any of us, but still, absolutely. But it's a group think, man. There's a value in the group. There's a value in being around people that look like you because of history. Because I understand that we have to be wary of strangers, but the truth is, when we're around strangers that look like us, considering history, I think there's a fucking value to that. And therein lies the healing. Yes. Malaysia, India, you feel more confident, B. That's what I'm talking about, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. We just have to be honest about what the history is. We have to be honest about history. We have to be honest about the context. I say I walk into a room full of white people and my antenna goes up an extra 3 feet, but it's held against me? Well, how the fuck? Why should that be held against me, considering the past 400, 500 years of history in this country? That's not fair at all. You say I'm not being fair by holding it against them. No, you're not being fair by respecting the fact that I'm a person, I am a brown-skinned person, knowing the history of white culture on this planet. And I love my white friends. But the white friends that I do love the most? Actually, hold on. That's not what I want to say. I do have allies. We have allies, Sean. We have allies. But at the same time, I have white people who don't agree with me ideologically, but the question is, how do you treat me? And how do I treat you? That's the question. I was called a bigot recently because I had a problem. I had a contention with that black man at the Oscars, red ball or red carpet, and he was wearing a gown, and it was gay. It was homo. He's a homosexual. I had an issue with that, but I told him, listen, man. The guy that commented, I said, listen, bro. I don't agree with homosexuality, but do you? Do you? As long as you don't harm me, we're good. And he had a problem with me making that statement that I don't agree with such and such. Might as well be I don't agree with conservative values at this point in time. Would I have been met with so much vitriol just because I don't agree with conservative values doesn't mean that I'm against humans who believe in conservatism, right? So, with that being said, I'm about to check out. What was the title of this video? The cherry on top. If you have black babies, teach them the legacy, history of being black on this planet. It's important. We're not at a kumbaya stage. We are not at a period, we're not in a period where we shouldn't see color. People that tell me they don't see color, they don't see my potential history. I am wary of those particular types of people. I don't know. I was about to say something else, but I'm not sure at this point. Anyways, stay black, stay brown, stay proud. Peace.